Hello and welcome to SaltWire today for Wednesday, November 16th. I'm Scott Squires, in for Kate Walker. We begin our Wednesday with an early afternoon test of the emergency alert system. SaltWire's Tim Arsenault has more on today's test.
Cell phones, radios, and TVs of Nova Scotians were abuzz at 1:55 p.m. today as part of a test of the National Public Alerting System. Most people received one test message from the Emergency Management Office over their television, radio, or compatible wireless devices. Tests are conducted twice a year during Emergency Preparedness Week in May and the third week of November. They allow for educating the public on the system and as a means of system testing. I'm Tim Arsenault for the SaltWire Network.
Some big news for the IWK Children's Hospital in Halifax as they're getting a large financial boost. We go back to SaltWire's Tim Arsenault for the donation details.
The IWK Hospital in Halifax is receiving a $6 million donation from the Irving family to enhance its emergency department. The gift is intended to improve the quality of emergency care and the patient family experience at the Halifax Hospital. The IWK Emergency Department has provided services for children, youth, and families throughout the Maritimes for almost 40 years and has outgrown its space and infrastructure for providing specialized pediatric emergency care. I'm Tim Arsenault for the SaltWire Network.
The grand reopening of the Woodside Ferry Terminal took place earlier this afternoon, celebrating the end of a renovation that started back in 2019. The improvements include new escalators, a new entryway, 2 new elevators, 7 new all-gender washrooms, including 2 barrier-free accessible washrooms. The upgraded Woodside Ferry Terminal is being touted as one of HRM's most efficient facilities, and it's also the first Halifax transit property to meet new standards for universal access to municipal facilities. For more information on Halifax Transit, you can visit halifax.ca/transportation. After 9 years of work, a volunteer society in Church Point, Digby County was unsuccessful in its efforts to repurpose an iconic former church structure in the Acadian region of the province. SaltWire's Tina Camo has more.
Since its construction, Église Sainte-Marie in Church Point, Digby County has been touted as the tallest wooden church structure in North America. But the thing the church structure has been revered for in the past, its size, is making its future complicated. The structure stopped being used as a Catholic church many years ago. The size of the congregation was down, and costs to heat and maintain the structure were up, let alone the cost of repairing it. The structure, which opened in 1905, has long been showing its age. There have been roof leaks, broken windows, damage to its wooden siding, etc. Still, it is a majestic structure. The massive wooden structure stands 185 feet tall from the ground to the top of its steeple. Its interior is still beautiful. 9 years ago, a local society made up of volunteers began the work of trying to come up with the funding to repurpose the structure and to hopefully avoid demolition, which could be a future possibility. But the society ran into difficulties. While everyone agrees it would be a shame to lose the structure, people in organizations and groups were nervous over the cost of preserving and maintaining it in future years. The society started out with a cost guesstimate of saving the church to be $3 million. In recent years, $11 million seemed more realistic, but also out of reach. When the society recently put out a request for proposals to come up with a fundraising strategy and no firm responded to that RFP, the Society of Volunteers decided it could do no more and is now ending its involvement in trying to repurpose this structure. As for the future of the former church structure, any decisions will now lie with the Archdiocese of Halifax and Yarmouth. This is Tina Camo, reporting for SaltWire Network in Church Point, Digby County.
With the holiday season getting closer, Woody the talking Christmas tree is still in slumber, but he'll be awake and chatty very soon for mall-goers in Dartmouth. And while we're talking holiday-themed things, it was 32 years ago today that the festive film Home Alone was released in theaters.
I can't seem to find my toothbrush, so I'll pick one up when I go out today. Other than that, I'm in good shape.
I remember splashing on Brute by Fabergé. And yes, I had the same reaction as Kevin. It's time now for a glimpse of today's Thinking Out Loud with Sheldon McLeod. Today, Sheldon is speaking with Kirk Simmons of the HRM Solid Waste Department about the municipality's food waste campaign.
Waste reduction, it costs a lot of money to get rid of the stuff that we throw up. It really does.
Listen, waste management, there's a cost. There's an environmental impact, having those trucks pick up your compost. It is a process. And this is one of the reasons we're saying food isn't garbage. And number one, if we can reduce the amount of food waste that people are making, then we don't have to pick it up. We don't have to process it. It's a very simple concept, but we're looking at some statistics, and about 63% of food that Canadians throw away can be eaten. 63%.
And for Sheldon's full conversation, head to the opinion section of SaltWire.com. Time now for the Atlantic Sports Wire. The top two teams in the Maritime Major Female Hockey League went head-to-head recently as the 10-0 Northern Subway Selects took on the home side Action Benefits Penguins. They came into the game with a 10-1 record. It was a back-and-forth game with the only goal being scored by Selects captain Bree McPherson a little over 6 minutes into the first period. That would stand up as the game winner, and 13 was lucky for goaltender Georgia Burrows from the Selects as she stopped all 13 Penguin shots. The Selects remain unbeaten at 11-0 and lead the league with 22 points. On to weather now to see what's coming up in the forecast. We're going to check in with our weather specialist, Alistair Alders. Alistair?
Thank you, Scott. Well, I managed to get out to deliver this forecast before the rain arrived here in Dartmouth this afternoon. Certainly HRM is in for a wet and windy night. We will have rain with a gusty southeast wind of 40 to 60 kilometers per hour this evening, maybe even an isolated thunder shower. Now about 10 to 20 millimeters of rain is on the way this evening. We'll see the temperature rising up to 14 degrees. The rain tapers off through the overnight hours. The temperature drops down to 4 degrees by the time you wake up on Thursday morning with mainly cloudy skies. As we go into the afternoon, a bit brighter with a mix of sun and cloud, but we don't really rise much. The temperature will be near 5 degrees for the afternoon high. It will be windy throughout the day on our Thursday. Winds from the west tomorrow, 30 to 50 in the morning, gusting 20 to 40 in the afternoon. It is still set to be breezy on Friday, but the day is looking brighter. In terms of the upcoming weekend, it could be a bit unsettled at times. However, there is uncertainty in the forecast, so I am keeping a very close eye on it. Stay dry tonight. Scott.
Thanks, Alistair. That's all for now. For more extended video and full online articles, stay tuned to SaltWire.com. And you can find us on Instagram and Twitter at SaltWire Today. I'm Scott Squires. Thank you for spending some time with us on SaltWire today. We'll see you back here tomorrow.